Hey everybody, welcome to this Xbox Live episode number 527 titled Be Nice. My name is Rob. I'm your host for today, also known as Presar on Xbox Live. Thanks for joining me yet again for another fun, fantastic episode of this Xbox Life 500 in plus 27. But this is a show about Xbox gaming, anything else we want to talk about, but primarily Xbox related things. At least we'll stick to that and not go into electronics and appliances and stuff like we have been known to do occasionally in the past. Well, it's been a while since we did that, so that's a couple hundred episodes ago. But real quick, make sure to listen to us live Sunday nights, approximately 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. Again, that's on Twitch and YouTube, and I turned off Mixer, so we're not going to be streaming to Mixer. There's a problem with it, and I think the other platforms for the time being are probably a little bit better. We'll be back in Mixer when TXL 2.0 kicks off here soon. Also, just so everybody knows, we are not affiliated with Microsoft or the Xbox in any way. This is a show being done by fans for fans of the Xbox. The views and opinions expressed on the show do not reflect those of Microsoft. All right. So a couple of things that I've been playing. Well, I'll just mainly talk about the big one, and that's the Fortnite. I played a little bit of Battle Royale. I saw a couple of community members around there. Fantastic. I like seeing that. But there's a big event that happened this weekend where Loot Lake basically opened up. It was like a portal into another dimension, whatever, alternate reality, and people got to vote for their favorite weapon to come back or to be unvaulted. So that was kind of cool. That was pretty neat to experience. That was around 2 p.m. Central yesterday and Saturday. But it's the last week of the season, and I'm really looking forward to the new season for Save the World because, as I've said before, that's my jam. But the Battle Royale, it's fun. It's cool. But it's hard to compete with the kiddos that spend a lot of time on there, as I've said before. But yeah, looking forward to the new season coming up real soon. Kind of curious to see what it's going to be all about, especially in Save the World. And we shall see. We shall see. All right, a couple quick things as usual. If you'd like to support the show, if you feel like you're getting benefit out of it, a great way to support that is on Patreon. You can support us with as little as $1 a month. Definitely appreciated, not required. And it helps us defray some of the costs of running the show because, as usual, nothing's free in this world. So basically, it costs to do this. So it's greatly appreciated if you could send anything our way. Also, you can leave us a tip at thisxboxlife.com/donate and subscribe to the channel on Twitch and YouTube. So a couple of stories that we've got this week to talk about. This is kind of a big one that happened earlier this week, and that's that Microsoft really thinks that trash talking within, Xbox Live can get to be too much. So it goes the name of the show, Be Nice. And Microsoft has detailed a bunch of ways that, and these are really like guidelines, but they've detailed a bunch of ways where what basically it's okay to do. Nobody likes to be kind of yelled at, and it can get to some extreme, especially, on the internet where there's some sense of anonymity and so forth. But they set up a bunch of guidelines that they want people to know, like where the line is and what crosses the line, what's acceptable behavior, etc. So on Tuesday of this past week, when was that? That would have been, April 30th, I think. They gave out a list of or examples of what you can say or what you should say and so forth. And so there's an article about this. It said, for instance, Microsoft says you can critique specific instances of poor play, like accusing somebody of exhibiting potato aim after the popular meme. It also says you can engage in a bit of playful mocking with phrases like get wrecked or get good. Crossing the line, however, involves personal attacks, use of slurs, or anything resembling a sexual threat. I get it, but it's funny that they really need to give guidelines. I mean, there's a lot of immature people out there, and now, I think everybody, when you're amongst friends and so forth, you can say whatever, and people don't take it personal. At least that's my experience with my friends. It's anything goes sometimes, but nobody takes it serious, and everybody's having a good time. But I guess when you're strangers, that's crossing the line, and I think that this is really what Microsoft is aiming for. And they say, let's see here. Oftentimes, it's easy for the acceptable to cross over into the unacceptable, like substituting wrecked or destroyed for profanity that clearly insinuates something more sinister and criminal in nature. And of course, any type of slur or attack on undefinable traits like gender, skin color, and nationality is strictly forbidden and punishable. Little trash talk is an expected part of competitive multiplayer action, and that's not a bad thing, the company writes. But hate has no place here, and what's not okay is when that trash talk turns into harassment. And I get it. We all, or especially Microsoft, people are paying for their service, right? Microsoft wants that service to be enjoyable for people, everywhere. So all it takes is a couple of bad apples to kind of ruin everything for everybody, I guess, right? But right now, doesn't seem to be any kind of action going against this. It's just guidelines, basically. Maybe a warning. Maybe that's one way to look at it. But they basically say we may permanently suspend a profile or device if we can no longer trust it due to severe violations. Or if our attempts to correct repetitive negative behaviors are unsuccessful. That makes sense. So if you continue, you'll get banned. You lose your account, which is interesting, right? So if you're digital, right? If you're all digital, like how basically we're going down that road lately. If you're all digital, you get your account banned. Does that mean you lose your entire library? Whoa, that's a harsh thing. But yeah, so it was kind of interesting. I thought it was kind of funny that they had to do this, but they need to do something to make the environment acceptable to everybody. So we'll see what happens with this. We'll see if they start booting people or if they have to do something to really lock things down. All right, we had a couple of games join back compat recently, mainly Ninja Gaiden 3 and Trials Evolution. So if you enjoy those games are available on your Xbox One under the back compat program. And then there was an interesting article with Business Insider where they said the title was "The All-Digital Xbox Raises Questions About What It Means to Own a Video Game and What Happens When a Game Goes Offline for Good." So there's been a bunch of games, like I think the most recent one that I can remember is Burnout. Was it Burnout Paradise? Anyway, Burnout was the servers were going to be shut down. And, this happens with older games here and there. Basically, the servers get shut down, the multiplayer aspect of the game goes away. You still might have the regular, solo play offline where you can do that. But, what does it mean where these servers go away? And they say that, let's see, where was this here? With Microsoft's terms of services, the company says that they may term. That's the wrong section here. Basically, if Microsoft ever decides to sell or shut down the Xbox brand, neither your account or your purchases are guaranteed to stay intact. So, especially those of us that have been around on Xbox Live forever, that's kind of a doozy, and it makes you think a little bit. So, Microsoft, huge brand, or Xbox, huge brand, Microsoft, huge name in computers, in productivity, well, not really computers, in operating systems, in productivity, and in gaming. But what happens if Microsoft goes away? What happens if they sell the brand? What happens if they shut it down? If you're all digital, potentially everything can be gone. And chances are, with the way that, things are, Microsoft's a big company, they're really not hurting. Even if the Xbox brand is not number one, because right now, it's been lagging behind Sony this current generation. But even if they're not number one, they have the other aspects of the company that can kind of keep things going, right? So they also say that at the very least, players who commit to buying a game on a disc can be sure the game will still be playable so long as the disc still works. And with the online aspect of the digital world, right, where it has to phone home, it has to authenticate everything, what happens if that goes away? Disc will probably work, maybe, who knows? They could always, set it so that it just works. It doesn't phone home. But what happens with those games that are digital, that you purchased, maybe that don't have installed? That could all go away. So it's an interesting situation. It's sort of the worst case scenario, right? That if Microsoft goes away, you lose your entire library. You basically can't use your Xbox anymore. And, like I said, I don't think we'll be coming to that anytime soon, but it's quite a doozy. It's quite a doozy to think about. All right. Moving on, there's going to be a couple of games leaving Game Pass. And last month we had a couple go in, couple go out. And then right now for May, we're going to be losing Mega Man Legacy Collection, MotoGP 17, Comic Jumper, Missplosion Man, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, and Star Wars 2 The Force Unleashed. So if you have any of those games that you really wanted to play, better get going, because I think they're going to be leaving here in just a couple weeks. So get on it. And then with the Game Pass exits, we've got a couple of games going into Game Pass. And there's a couple of good ones here. We have, where was this? Wolfenstein 2. That's a fantastic game. I love the Wolfenstein series. If you haven't played them and you have Game Pass, give it a shot here. And Wargroove is coming to Game Pass. So that's pretty cool. This is a game that I was really looking forward to for a very, very long time. It's akin to the old Advance Wars series on the Game Boy Advance and the Nintendo systems, but it's basically been redone. And then this is also on Windows. So you can play this, I believe, on both. So I know I've got it. I purchased it when this first came out, and I was able to do it on Windows and on the console. So two very cool games entering Game Pass there. Then this was kind of interesting. So we know that Telltale went out recently, right? They shut down. They continued, some of the team just to finish up the latest or the last Walking Dead series. But it looks like a bunch of their games got delisted from the 360, Xbox One, and Windows 10 stores. And let's see here. The list that has been pulled includes Game of Thrones, the Telltale game series, has been delisted. We have Minecraft Story Mode. That has been removed on Xbox One and Windows 10 stores. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 has been removed from 360, Xbox, and Windows 10. And the Walking Dead Collection, Telltale series, is now gone from Xbox One and Windows 10. And then it looks like The Walking Dead Season 2, The Walking Dead A New Frontier, and The Walking Dead Michonne have also been taken down. So, all of those. Actually, this goes back to kind of like what we were talking about, where what does it mean when you have something that's digital? Well, I suppose in this case, if you bought it, you should be able to still install it. You just can't buy it new. I think that's how this works here. At least that's how it was in the past. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I guess in some respects, if the company's gone, the material or these titles, the rights to them probably either, got sold off or somebody else owns it, and then contracts have to be renegotiated. Who knows? But, Microsoft can't pay people, right? Who knows who they can pay the royalties to and so forth. And Lethal Migraine said Microsoft needs to buy Telltale. I want Wolf Among Us 2. Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite series on there, Wolf Among Us. And it was so set up for a sequel. I think they even teased it. But that's all it was, unfortunately. Nothing but a big tease. And who knows? Maybe some other studio will pick him up, or go on Good Old Games or one of those things, and or the assets will be sold off, and we might see something in the future. A distant hope, if nothing else. All right, and that's about it for the roundtable today. A couple quick things here. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, you can do that on thisxboxlife.com. Just use the send voicemail widget. Leave a message up to 90 seconds, or you can also send us an MP3 recording to contact@thisxboxlife. Also, we have a Twitter account and a Facebook group. If you want to be in the Facebook group, you have to ask for membership. It's a closed group. Answer 2 simple questions. Both questions, please. Both questions. Apparently, it's really difficult. But 2 easy questions. Be close. You can just be close to answering, and you'll get in. But it's a closed group, which basically means that messages within the group stay within the group, and then we can keep the spammers out, which is the number one goal of having the closed group. All right, this week's retail releases.
Okay, Rob.
Okay, this week's retail releases, nothing real big here. We've got Brief Battles on May 7th, Xbox One X Enhanced, Puyo Puyo Champions, My Big Sister. On the 8th, we have The Adventures of Bertram Fiddle, Episode 1, A Dreadly Business. That one's got some funky graphics on it. Then also on the 8th, The Legends of Tetrax, Woodle Tree Adventures. On the 9th, we have Life is Strange 2, Episode 3, Wastelands, also Xbox One X Enhanced. We have For the King. On May 10th, this is Game Pass and Xbox One X Enhanced. And it looks like it's going into Game Pass on the 7th, which is Tuesday. So does that mean it gets into Game Pass 3 days early? Curious. But that one looks interesting. Looks interesting. I kind of like the art on it. And then Ascendance First Horizon, Xbox One X Enhanced, also on the 10th. Super Space Serpent Secondary Edition. That's kind of a tongue twister. Xbox Play Anywhere. On that one, Reverse Crawl in the 10th. Dragon Fang Z, The Rose, and Dungeon of Time. So that's one title there. Dragon Fang Z, The Rose, and Dungeon of Time. Xbox Play Anywhere. And lastly, on the 10th, Lovecraft's Untold Stories. So the 10th seems to be the biggest day, for me at least. For the King is probably the most interesting title, although Life is Strange, I've always been curious about that series. I've heard it's pretty good, but I have yet to play it. But those are probably like the two bigger ones, really, that are going to be released this week. All right, Games with Gold did a little switcheroo here recently on May 1st. Brand new to the scene for Xbox One. We have Marooners. So this is the title through the month of May. And then carrying over from last month, from April 16th, and exiting on May 15th, we have Outcast, Second Contact, Xbox 360. We have Earth Defense Force, Insect, Armageddon. For some reason, that's kind of like a tongue twister there as well. I'm not going to try to say that one fast. But that's the first half of May. That's 360 and back compat. And then lastly, if you make any purchase on Amazon, make sure to use our affiliate link. You can find that on the Facebook group and on the website. Use that each and every time. It's a great way to support the show. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Just a couple quick clicks, and you can purchase anything on Amazon. Use our affiliate link. It doesn't have to be Xbox related. Also, if you're an iTunes user, find the show on the iTunes store. Give us a review, please. 5 stars. Helps more people find out about the show. Then follow us on Twitch and YouTube. And thanks to Learned Your Lesson for the music. And that's about it for this week. Sort of shortish show, about 25 minutes almost. And I also wanted to mention, I apologize for the last couple episodes. There were some problems, technical and non-technical. There was a couple of reasons why we couldn't get the shows out. So they got delayed a little bit. I posted all of them. So episodes 524, 525, and 526 all got posted all at once on all the services. They were up on Twitch the entire time because the Twitch stream is viewable immediately as soon as we finish the recording, but everything else has to be manually done. So Twitch is available. Everything else lagged a little bit, but we'll get back in the regular schedule here moving forward. So again, that's about it for episode 527. Be nice and know that everybody is nice. And yeah, Lethal Migraine just said I listened to them all today. Yeah, it's sorry again about the delays on there, but yeah, it happened. So again, my name is Rob, also known as Presar. Thanks for listening, everybody, and catch y'all next week for episode 528.